So, welcome to Rewind the Movies. This week's podcast is going to look at the great outdoors. We're joined as a full quote there actually tonight. So, it's Evan, myself, Andrew, Adam, and Prog. And one of us in this group, am I right in saying hadn't seen it before?
Nope, never seen this film.
So, Ad, straight over to you. How come you've never seen this?
It's just never hit my radar, really. I mean, I know it's John Hughes and stuff, and I love Dan Aykroyd and John Candy.
As a duo, they're brilliant. But I had this on VHS. Oh, I loved it. I watched it so much. Prog, what about you?
Somewhat similar to you. I wouldn't be as affectionate to this as you have just been, but I definitely watched it loads growing up.
Ev, what about you, buddy?
I'm going to get hammering for this, but I think this is probably John Candy's best film.
I'll join you. It's his best film for me as well. Let's move on to favourite aspect, and I'm going to go first. Do an obvious one, and it's the duo or the two main people. Evan's already mentioned, Dan Aykroyd and John Candy. I think they should have done more films together. We've spoke about this in previous podcasts, but Dan Aykroyd is brilliant at playing the ultimate, the guy that you just want to smash in the face. He does it so well, but his facial expressions and his gesture and his delivery is brilliant. And then I similar with John Candy.
I don't think Dan Aykroyd gets enough credit as a comedy actor.
No, not at all. All right, come on. Other favorite aspects?
I'm going to go with Wally, the resort owner.
Have you noticed how Wally and his wife look exactly the same?
Yeah.
They do. They're 100% the same person.
I can remember laughing at him last time I watched it, and I was laughing at him again this time. I think he's probably got the best lines in the film, actually.
Yeah. What old man wouldn't like a little girl kissing him on the cheek? A dead one.
Yeah. The fact that they actually still put the dead guy in that seat and hold the party for him. I tell you what, that's a wasted scene, that.
It does need a little bit more, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah, they could have drawn that out.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he died on the way over here. And you're like, what? You're a sick man.
I think I said last time as well that this film was a year before Weekend at Bernie's.
Was it really? I always think of Weekend at Bernie's a lot earlier in the 80s.
No, I think it was 89, literally a year later.
I always thought Weekend at Bernie's was 90s or something.
Yeah.
What about you, Ad?
I'd say like the John Hughesiness of it is a favourite aspect. Does that count?
What would you say is the John Hughesiness of it then?
Are we talking dialogue or are we talking like just
sentiment? Or
John Hughes has this thing where even though he doesn't direct all his films, every film feels like a John Hughes film. Even when Chris Columbus is directing one, it feels like a John Hughes movie. I don't know how it is, but they always visually have this John Hughes sort of like touch.
Can you say exactly what it is that made it feel like a John Hughes film?
I don't know. It's just that the type of characters you get. He always seems to like hanging on to the sort of American suburbanite sort of characters. There's always a sort of touch of naughtiness in there.
I always feel with John Hughes as well, he loves to have a resolution where two conflicting characters find common ground at the end.
That's what I was going to say next. He likes the thing where, like, two people who hate one another wind each other up for the entire movie, come together at the end.
Well, are we talking Molly Ringwald and Jed Nelson, yeah?
Yeah, well, nobody's going to get together like they are they?
It's funny enough, I just edited the video version of that for YouTube, and I forgot how much Prog had an issue with them two coming together at the end of the film.
I'm going to give a shout out to the female actresses as well. Because even though they haven't got hardly anything to do, I still think they make their characters pop, as it were.
The mum, I think, is good. John Candy's wife.
What's her name? Stephanie Faracy.
Yeah.
Annette Bening's first major role as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
you can tell in this that Annette Bening's going to go on to do stuff. I mean, Annette Bening as Katie, she does have. You can see why she would be with Roman, because she's got a little bit of those annoying characteristics as well, hasn't she? She sort of plays up to Roman a little bit when him and Chet have the confrontation, and she's sort of laughing in the background or smiling in the background. So,
And I'm just thinking back to when we did the original podcast on this. Am I right in saying that you had a bit of a crush on the young female in this movie? I can't remember her name.
oh, Lucy Deakins.
Yeah,
Oh, she was my first crush.
I thought it was. I didn't want
Yeah.
to say, but yeah, just in case. But
Yeah, for this and the boy who could fly. Absolutely.
have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't watched that.
Oh, amazing! Go and watch it.
That's been podcasted now, hasn't it? I have
Yeah,
no reason to ever watch it now because it's been podcasted.
Me and Prog highly recommend it. A couple of other things I just want to mention from favorite aspect point of view. I do love in part the slapstick element of it. But I think John Candy lends himself to certain scenes. The skiing scene, for example. I want a favorite scene from someone.
There's too many to pick from in terms of comedic scenes. Like the bear scene when he goes to the bear dump is just John Candy's just giving off pure dad vibes, trying to get the bears on the car. I just love that. The bat scene when him and Roman are trying to kill the bat. Why John Candy's wearing sunglasses when it's pitch black and they turn out all the lights? I don't know.
This time round watching that scene, it was the build up to it. Do you know where they're sort of like, oh, you go in. No, why am I going in? You go in. And that bit I found really, that bounce off each other really good this time.
The old 96er. Again, John Candy plays that brilliantly, just for the facial expressions and the meat sweats that he's got. Like the fact that he looks complete when he takes like the second to last bite on there, he's almost like he's hungover.
I love it when they're leading him out of the restaurant. Yeah. He just looks like, and he's like giving the like royal salute, isn't he, with his hand? Like, and he looks like he's gonna pass out.
The water ski scene for me, I think it's just one of the best comedy scenes that's ever been. I love that scene.
It's proper old school slapstick comedy, isn't it? So.
Yeah, and but again, it's just John Candy makes it just for like his noises and the stuff he's saying, and you got to wonder how much of that stunt he did himself. Obviously, he's not going to do like the
not a lot.
No, I know, but but like even like this the stuff when he's calling him a bastard and whatever, and it's like, oh, go faster. You know it's coming, but still it's good, and it's I love that.
I want to shout out the stunt man in that scene. He does some good work with the one-legged skiing.
Yeah.
What I like about it, and it's the payoff. So he's talking to his son about if anything goes wrong, just let go. And it's the one thing he bloody doesn't do, isn't it?
I will say there's a flaw in that though, in that scene. John Candy has the skis on.
Yeah.
So if his son was actually going to go first, his son would have had the skis on.
Well, I read it as, he's showing him what to do, but he does everything. But surely he wouldn't wear the same size skis as someone who's a child.
No.
So, but it's in there because they needed something to lead up to it, didn't they? So.
Watching it this time, I really enjoyed John Candy's bear story. John Candy's telling his family about the bald-headed bear.
That's the delivery of it. My favourite scene, it follows after that, actually. And it's when Roman tells his girls not to worry about it. And then he starts talking about how his Uncle Bill told him a story about escaped prisoners or something, killing people.
Yeah.
And he says it's such matter of a fact. And the girls are just like in the bed. And there's no emotion with those two anyway. But I really laughed at that. Where I never really laughed at it before.
But that scene, it showcases it showcases the two characters brilliantly, because you got John Candy who's he has a really good relationship with his kids, and he's probably the type of dad that you'd aspire to be, or you'd admire, whereas Dan Aykroyd just has no connection with his kids whatsoever, and he's just it's chalk and cheese, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in fairness to Dan, there is a scene where Dan Aykroyd's character is lamenting to his wife that he can't connect to his daughters while he's scratching his arse in front of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're there, and he's just like talking about them.
Yeah.
Those girls, fair play. I know they have very little to do, but the fact they play so many scenes like sort of deadpan.
Well,
So-
I'm going to say something now, and I wonder whether Adam picked up on it as well. But I think there's wasted opportunity with those girls and some comedy.
Well, they hardly have any dialogue, do they?
Twins.
The
Yeah.
fact that they're twins and you've not long had The Shining.
Yeah, but they do hint. They have a Shining reference in there at the beginning, don't they, when they first introduced? But that's sort of it, really, with those two.
Yeah.
They have a Twilight music as well.
Like, it would have
Twilight
been
Zone
good
music.
if those girls just appeared places.
Yeah.
Like, people turned around in the house and the girls were just stood there right behind them.
Never
Start
know.
staring at them, yeah.
They might have actually filmed stuff like that. John Hughes always changed his films. He used to film films that always
Maybe.
change, wouldn't they?
They were, I think they were in one other film or maybe two other films, and that was it. They were in a film with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, The Mosquito Coast.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
River Phoenix is in it as well. Never seen it. I would got in my notes.
I've seen that years ago. I haven't watched it since, but it was when Harrison Ford was trying to get an Oscar.
Right, come on, let's move on to changes.
Raccoons.
The raccoons, you hate the raccoons, didn't you?
But I can't stand them. I can't stand it in this film. It's just pointless.
It's for the kids, though, isn't it? That's the thing with John Hughes films. They always have those little bits in it that are to draw the kids in, don't they? And that's why his films have such a big appeal, usually.
Yeah, but also the subtitles. Why you have the subtitles?
Because
That's
I
the
don't
joke in-
speak raccoon.
Yeah, but I don't. You can easily see what they're doing.
Yeah, but you need to know how excited they are for those lobster tails, Proc. You need to know.
Oh God, it's absolutely awful.
I agree. I thought it was stupid as well, the raccoons. But in my head, I was thinking, I can see why they put this in it though. It's for the kids. It's for kids watching it. Like, because that's the thing with this film. It is in two halves, and you got like the teenagers, you got the kids, and you got the adults. So it's like that sort of try to cover the entire board, really, aren't they?
Do you think when John Hughes was writing this, I get the feeling watching it again that maybe he wanted to write a different film about the kids. I know you're going to bring it up, Brad, but the subplot with Young Buck and Cammy, that felt like that felt like it should have been a film on its own.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
It could have been an 80s teen coming of age drama type movie. Couldn't
with
it?
this boy is away for 2 weeks with his family and he, falls in love with this girl. I mean, if it had been over 2 weeks, it would have been believable. But the problem with this subplot is that he falls in love with her in like 2 days and they're boyfriend and girlfriend in 2 days.
Yeah, but the problem is that has to happen like that, doesn't it, to fit into the film?
Yeah, I get it, right? When you first introduced to Cammy, when you actually get to know her through the dialogue and all this, she's like really insecure. Her character was a bit all over the place. I'm sure if you'd had more film with her, you could have ironed out those sort of inconsistencies. But it went from here, confident, brash, and then the next scene you meet her and she's like way down here. It's almost like she didn't have any other friends there. I don't mind it being in there. I just don't think it's handled well.
Ad, what about you? You must have got some changes, I'm sure. Simply because you don't have any nostalgia for this film.
And that's going to bring me on to the next point. I'm not as taken with this film as you guys are. I'm going to just lay out the. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it at all. But I wasn't like. I found the film a bit of a mess in parts.
Wait until you hear his rating for it at the end, boys.
I thought the film was a bit messy, and I found it really disjointed and weird and clunky in parts as well. I thought the whole thing with the kids, Prog brought this up earlier, with the kids, the teenage romance. I thought it didn't go with the slapstick John Candy, Dan Aykroyd stuff, and it just the score they kept using that loop score they kept using on the two kids. It just kind of it was just annoying. So you'd be watching these crazy slapsticky moments, and then suddenly it'd slap into this. It sounded like that Delamitri song, Always the Last to Know. It sounded like a loop of the opening of that song, just like, oh, now. And you're like, oh, here we are, we're back in this now. And it was just corny. I'm just being real here, but I think it would have been better if they had made the kids younger. They made that teenage romance rather than like way younger and made it more like child like innocence. I don't know. I just thought it would have worked better. It just felt like Pretty in Pink smashed together with planes, trains, and automobiles. Do you know what I mean? Like it just felt really weird. I didn't like the ending at all. Like the ending, I liked the bit with the bear when they shot him in the arse. I did laugh at that, but I didn't hate it. But I didn't like the bit where Dan Aykroyd says, another bit when he says about the 25 grand. And then suddenly John Candy's getting his checkbook out to sign. I'm like, why is he doing that for? Like in 4 seconds, he's just made this decision to give 25K to his relative, who he doesn't really like anyway. Just felt a bit, come on, guys, like there's a bit of a leap. And then Dan Aykroyd is driving away, and he's like, oh, let's turn back. And it just felt like the film was kind of going like back and forth. I was like, what's going on? I don't know. I just prefer other John Hughes films to this one. I wouldn't rush to watch it again, but I didn't hate it. I did like a lot of stuff in it, but I had many a problem. I thought the film was going like this, up until another bit with the bear, when they talk about the bear. I was all in. But then after the bear story, I just started to lose interest and I just started to see loads of issues with the film. I just thought it was a bit, but I don't have the nostalgia for it though. So like, I'm coming into this as someone who's just watched.
And that's what it comes down to, Ad. I have so much nostalgia for this film. It's probably one of the films out of maybe up to 8 films that I would watch regularly. Simply we mentioned it before. You only had access to a certain amount of films. Blah blah blah. So I watched it so much, and I wouldn't change anything about this film personally.
The raccoons.
Yeah, I wouldn't. And I know that this film has problems, but I'm probably just wearing my rose tinted glasses here. I just love it so much that I wouldn't change anything about it. Apart from one thing, John Candy is not beating those boys in the go-kart. He's a heavy man. He's not going past those guys. No way. Ev, what about you, buddy? Before we start wrapping up,
I got a few. Not so much changes, just general comments as such. Cammy, she's a right, isn't she, to book? She is. She gives him like a well hard time, and like makes him feel guilty for supposedly standing her up at the bait shop. And then all of a sudden, like, she wants him to go back to Chicago, lovesick maniac. It's like, come on.
But that's the inconsistency with the character, isn't it?
I know, yeah. Just give him a bit of a break, you know.
Also, it did make me nostalgic for a time before mobile phones.
And just a couple of things, little facts, I suppose. The chocolate bar that John Candy throws to the bears, it's the same one that's used in Beetlejuice. When Beetlejuice is trying to get the fly into the model.
Good spot, right? You're getting all over Andrew's facts.
Well, hey, if you want facts, I'll give you facts. Come on. So it was originally going to be called Big Country, but because Big came out that year, go on.
There's a reason they didn't call it Big Country, but if you shorten that name by a couple of letters.
Yeah, but this is his 80s, more innocent time.
Imagine, like when they have like the ticket stubs and you can't get the full title on it. Imagine getting a ticket. Oh, we're watching Big.
Aykroyd wasn't the first choice to play Roman. It was originally offered to Chevy Chase, but he was doing, I believe, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, maybe at the time.
I gotta say, I think I would have struggled to watch this if Chevy Chase was in it.
Also Bill Murray, but he was taking a break from acting at the time, so he didn't do it. There's a line in it from Ghostbusters that Dan Aykroyd says. Do you know which one?
Oh,
it's from the bat scene, and it's when they get Slimer, and it's we got it.
Yeah.
Budget was 24 million. It returned 43.
Where's that 24 million gone?
I don't know.
I've seen films where the quarter of that budget look twice as good.
Yeah, bears and raccoons, I reckon.
I can see where the money went. There was a lot of big set pieces in this movie.
Right, final question. Would you recommend, Ev?
Yes, with bells on. Yeah.
Adam?
If someone was talking about John Hughes, I would maybe recommend it to them. But I would say with a caveat, like it's not my favorite film by him. 50-50 recommend on this one.
Prague, would you recommend?
No,
No. Ah, what?
I just don't. I don't think it holds up.
Okay, I'm gonna say no as well. I was trying to be nice. We got two no's.
I think they're better comedies. I think there's so many more better comedies. I think there's better Dan Aykroyd films. I think there's better John Candy films. I think there's better John Hughes films.
You've changed, Prague. I reckon you recommended this last time.
I might have.
Listen to it. I reckon.
But do you know how many podcasts and films I've had to sit through since then?
Right, I would recommend. So that would be a 50-50 split.
My rating was 6 out of 10, by the way.
Oh yeah, he gave it a 6. He wouldn't recommend it, but he gave it a 6, the same as Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, but I don't hate it though. Like it feels bad to give it a 5. It felt bad giving it a 5.
You had some enjoyment out of it, didn't you, Anne?
Yeah, it did. It did. It ended.
Right, we are wrapping up. So podcasts come out every Wednesday. Check out our YouTube channel because we're doing a bit more video podcasting now and putting these videos up. So check that out. And if you want us to do a film in the future, please just let us know. Cheers all.